So in this video, I'm going to do an overview of the project. I pulled up the directions from the project. So you can find the directions from the project by going to the project page and going below the two videos there and clicking on Math 145 Project 2 Form C2 PDF. So I would download that. I also recommend reading through that first before watching this video. It will help you understand more what I'm talking about because I'm not going to read this entire project to you. So the first two pages highlight the skills needed and the checklist and the submission project. So for submitting, please submit it as a single PDF. You can do the write-up in Word or Google Docs, but then you can convert it to a PDF. The other thing is there is a rubric both at the end of this project and on Canvas if you scroll down. Please refer to that rubric when completing this assignment so that you make sure that you are doing all the steps and that you're getting the maximum points. So you are going to create a business report. The report must be typed and its project is out of 100 points. And so you are going to be a business analyst consulting for a global social policy research institute, as well as a regional business research institute. So you're going to look at the trends of income inequality in America and compare it to two other countries. And you're going to use this information in your research to discuss what social policies could be implemented to reduce income inequality in America. And you can also discuss income inequality and the impact on businesses. So there's two mathematics skills that are going to be involved in this project. One is called the Lorenz function and the other one is called the Gini index. So what you're first going to do is you're going to read the first few pages that are going to describe the Lorenz curve and the Gini index. And then you are going to use this table to create a few summary tables for a few years of the cumulative population and the cumulative income, and use that table to create a Lorenz function and a Gini index for 2 different years. And I created a second video that explains more on how to create this table, how to find this Lorenz function, and how to find the Gini index. So I'm not going to do that in this video. So you'll read through all of this information. And the main thing that I want to highlight is that from this table, you're going to pick a year between 1970 and 1990. And you will create a cumulative population versus cumulative income table for that year. You will find the Lorenz function for that year and put it in this table too. And then you will find the Gini index. The Gini index is using this integral formula. And after going over the fundamental theorem of calculus, you should be able to calculate this. And you will put that here. And then you will pick a second year, which you will call year B, from 1990 to 2008. Again, you'll find that year in this table, use this data here to create this table, and then use that table to find the Lorenz curve. And then once you find the Lorenz curve, you'll use that to find the Gini index. Again, I went over that, or you will watch the next video, which explain exactly how to find those things. So you're going to complete that table. And then again, use calculus to find the Gini index and fill out that table. The next thing you'll do is you're going to compare the income inequality of the US to 2 different countries. Now, the directions for this part of the project are different because this website changed. So instead of referring to this part, if you go to back to our project page on Canvas, for part 3, I included the new directions. So you're going to go to this interactive website instead of the one in the project. And what you'll have to do is you're going to pick 2 countries. You're going to create a chart with 3 countries, the US and 2 other countries selected from the following. So you're either going to pick Canada, France, Finland, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, or Sweden. And so you'll go to this chart, you'll hit edit countries and you'll pick 3 countries. I'm not gonna do those countries, but I'll just pick 3 other countries. So you go to edit countries and regions to select the countries. And then this will give you the Gini index for different years. So you can find the data for the Gini index for different years that you're looking for by either highlighting on this interactive graph. So the UK in 1980, the Gini index is 2.6. There's no data for Netherlands and United States, but like in 1990, I have the Gini index. For the US is 3.5, for the UK is 0.34, and for the Netherlands it's 0.28. You can also find the Gini index by going to the table here, and then you can find the Gini index here for different years. And if you click on this play time lapse, it will change your years. So you can get different years, 1970, 1980, 1990. So you will have to report the Gini index for the other countries for the closest year to 1970, the closest year to your year B, and the closest year to 2014. And you will make a table of that, of the Gini indices for those different countries. So you can either make a table of all of your countries together for the different years, or you can make a table per country. Students have done both ways and both of them are acceptable. So here's kind of the main thing that you're gonna do. You're gonna write a business report. You will have to do data collection, data analysis, global data collection, and then you need to research income inequality. So you're going to start with your report as an introduction. You're going to write 1 to 2 paragraphs explaining income inequality. You need to define what income inequality means, so you'll need to look that up. You will need to explain how it's quantified by economists using the Lorenz curve and the Gini index. You should explain more than what's explained in this project. So you should do more research on the Lorenz curve and the Gini index and explain them in depth. Make sure you explain what they are. I recommend including diagrams or images to be helpful. In the rubric, that's actually included. So you will need to include diagrams or charts to explain them to earn full credit. You also need to explain what absolute equality and inequality are. You need to explain what the Gini index value is for the absolute equality and interpret the meaning of that Gini index. And you need to explain what the Gini index value of absolute inequality is. I might have said inequality before. So absolute equality and also absolute inequality. Explain the Gini index for them and interpret the meaning of the Gini index for each of those. Then you're going to include your table, your completed table 2. Okay, so that's this table in your project. And you're going to use appropriate technology to create one graph of the Lorenz function and the line of equality on the same set of axes for the following years. 1970, whatever year B you picked, and 2014. So you need to draw the line of equality, that's key, and then you need to draw the Lorenz curve for each of the 3 years on the same axes. So again, the Lorenz curve kind of looks like this, and this is the line of equality, but you'll have 3 Lorenz curves. Okay, you can use whatever graphing software you feel comfortable with. You can use Desmos or GeoGebra or Excel. And in the project, there is a Graphing Tools PDF that talks about the different tools that you could use and help sites. So you'll need to use one of those to graph those functions. Okay. Then you're going to embed the time series graph of US and the 2 countries you selected from the website. So from this website, You're gonna take a snapshot of this picture and put it in your project. Okay, and make sure you include a title to this graph, if they're not one. And then you're gonna use the Gini indices that you found to state whether income inequality is rising or declining in the US. You're gonna use this time series graph to compare trends of income inequality in America to trends of the other two countries you selected. You're gonna discuss in 1 to 2 paragraphs possible causes in the differences in income inequality in the different countries. Discuss at least 4 possible causes and give in-depth reasoning with references. Okay, and so for all of these things where you're researching, you should be including references in your project, both in-site references, and then you should have a work in-text references, and then you should have a works cited page. Then you're going to use this information in your research to discuss in 2 to 3 paragraphs what social policies can be implemented to reduce income inequality in America and improve upward mobility. And make sure to use a wide spectrum of articles and do not rely on web searches such as Google to produce the required diversity. Note that popular media sites cannot necessarily be relied on for unbiased articles. Include a discussion on social policies that work better in other countries and give in-depth reasoning with references. And this part of your project is worth 15 points. Okay. Then you're going to also explain who has interest in income distribution. So in 1 page, you're going to describe at least 5 categories of concerned groups or individuals interested in income distribution. One of the categories must be businesses and retailers. And how does income inequality impact each of these concerned groups? Again, make sure you use references and cite where appropriate for this. And then the last part, and a lot of times students leave this part out, so please don't. You're going to discuss what technology you can use for modeling and graphing the Lorenz functions and why these technologies were chosen. Also include any other websites that you use to obtain information in regards to this report, and explain what other technologies could you have considered for the project that were not used. Include why you decided not to use these technologies. So I recommend when going to the project that you explore a few of these graphing options and then explain why you picked one of the graphing options over the others. Okay, but you should kind of list pros and cons of why you picked the technology that you did and why you did not pick the other technologies, and kind of compare the pros and cons of the different types of technologies for graphing. So you should have a professionally written report. It should be well organized and easy to decipher with correct grammar, spelling, and punctuation. It's a report, so you should use headings, make it a business report. And you want to write it for a general audience. So you want to explain the Lorenz curve and the Gini index in mathematical terms, but so that it is understandable to the general public and that they don't have to know calculus to be able to understand what you're saying. For the citations, you need to use APA format, and you should at least have a minimum of 3 references for this project. Okay. So that's kind of an overview of it. Again, please make sure that you watch the other video for more information on how do I create this table, how do I find my Lorenz curves, and how do I find the Gini index. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me.